What if one decision in 1945 changed everything? What if the course of history took a different turn, altering the fate of nations and the lives of millions? Imagine a world where the United States never dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. A world where these cities continued to thrive without the shadow of nuclear devastation. The year is 2025. The skyline of our cities is a testament to progress and peace, unmarred by the scars of atomic warfare. We look back at the 20th century with a sense of altered history. Major events unfolded differently, leading to a world that is both familiar and profoundly changed. The devastation of nuclear war never scarred our planet. Instead, we see landscapes that have flourished and cities that have grown without the burden of nuclear fallout. This is the story of that alternate timeline, a narrative that explores the possibilities of a world where the atomic bomb was never used. It is a tale of political intrigue, technological advancement, and the enduring power of human choices. Leaders and scientists face different challenges, leading to innovations and alliances that shaped our world in unexpected ways. The atomic bomb remains a chilling reminder of human ingenuity's destructive potential. Yet, in this timeline, it was never unleashed upon the world. Its absence from the events of August 1945 forces us to confront a question. What if? What if the bomb had remained a mere threat, never realized? This question is not merely an academic exercise. It challenges us to think deeply about the impact of our choices and the paths not taken. It's a journey into the heart of a world forever shaped by the decisions of the past. A world where history took a different turn, leading to a future that is both intriguing and enlightening. Join us as we explore the ramifications of an alternate history, a world where the atomic bomb was never dropped on Japan. Discover how this single change could have reshaped our world in ways we are only beginning to understand. World War II raged for 6 long years. By 1945, the Allies were close to victory. Germany had surrendered in May. Japan, however, continued to fight. The Pacific theater was a brutal battleground. The United States grappled with a difficult choice. Should they use this devastating new weapon? The atomic bomb promised a swift end to the war. It also carried the risk of unimaginable destruction. The decision to drop the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki was a turning point in human history. It ushered in the atomic age and cast a long shadow over international relations for decades to come. But in this alternate timeline, we imagine a different course of action. The United States, grappling with the moral and strategic implications of nuclear war, chose not to unleash this terrifying new weapon. With the atomic bomb off the table, the United States faced a daunting challenge. How could they force Japan's surrender without resorting to a full-scale invasion? The proposed plan, known as Operation Downfall, was a massive undertaking. It involved 2 separate operations, Operation Olympic and Operation Coronet. These operations aimed to capture key islands in the Japanese archipelago, culminating in an invasion of the mainland. Operation Downfall would have been the largest amphibious assault in history. Millions of Allied troops would have been involved. Casualties, both military and civilian, were projected to be astronomical. The United States, scarred by the horrors of the Pacific War, faced a stark choice: a costly invasion or a different path to peace. Within Japan, the war effort was faltering. The country was on the verge of collapse. The emperor, once considered a divine figure, began to see the writing on the wall. Secret negotiations began. The emperor sought a way to end the bloodshed while preserving some semblance of honor for Japan. Could this be the key to a negotiated peace? In our timeline, the atomic bombings are often cited as the primary factor in Japan's surrender. But some historians argue that other factors, such as the Soviet Union's declaration of war on Japan, played a significant role. In this alternate timeline, with the looming threat of invasion and the emperor's plea for peace, a negotiated settlement becomes a real possibility. Section 5. A different Cold War superpowers in a nuclear shadow. The dropping of the atomic bombs had a profound impact on the nascent Cold War. It marked the beginning of an era where the threat of nuclear warfare loomed over every geopolitical decision. It fueled an arms race between the United States and the Soviet Union, with both superpowers amassing vast arsenals of nuclear weapons. But in a world where those bombs were never dropped, the Cold War takes on a different character. The absence of nuclear weapons would have fundamentally altered the dynamics of international relations. The absence of nuclear weapons in 1945 doesn't erase the underlying tensions between the superpowers. The ideological divide between capitalism and communism would still have driven the two nations into conflict. It does, however, alter the stakes. Without the threat of mutual assured destruction, the strategies and tactics employed by both sides would have been different. Without the specter of nuclear annihilation looming large, the Cold War might have played out differently. The fear of a nuclear holocaust was a powerful deterrent that influenced many decisions. Proxy wars, espionage, and ideological battles would likely have continued. The superpowers would still have sought to expand their influence around the globe, but the absence of the ultimate deterrent could have led to different outcomes in key conflicts. The Korean War, the Vietnam War, and the Cuban Missile Crisis might have seen more direct confrontations. The Cuban Missile Crisis, all of these events could have unfolded in dramatically different ways. The world might have been a very different place without the shadow of nuclear weapons. Section 6. The Nuclear Genie. Contained or unleashed. The development of nuclear weapons marked a turning point in human history. It was a moment that forever changed the course of global politics and warfare. It ushered in the atomic age and raised the specter of global annihilation. The sheer destructive power of these weapons was unlike anything the world had ever seen. But what if that genie had remained in the bottle, at least for a while longer? What if the secrets of the atom had been kept under wraps, delaying the inevitable? In this alternate timeline, the United States' monopoly on nuclear knowledge is only temporary. The race for nuclear supremacy would still be on, but perhaps with a different pace and intensity. The secrets of the atom, once revealed, are difficult to keep hidden. Scientists around the world were already on the brink of similar discoveries. The Soviet Union, always a step behind in the nuclear arms race, would have likely continued its own nuclear program. Their determination to catch up would not have waned. Other nations, sensing the shifting balance of power, might have followed suit. The allure of nuclear capability was too great to ignore. The question becomes not if, but when nuclear weapons would have proliferated. The spread of this technology seemed almost inevitable. Would a world without the immediate shock of Hiroshima and Nagasaki have led to a more cautious approach to nuclear proliferation? Or would the absence of such a stark warning have made nations even more reckless? Or would the Cold War's paranoia have ultimately unleashed the nuclear genie anyway? The fear and mistrust between superpowers might have driven them to the same end, regardless of the initial delay. Section 7. The Rising Sun, Japan's Journey Without the A-Bomb. The atomic bombings had a devastating impact on Japan. They led to immense human suffering and left an indelible mark on the nation's psyche. But they also served as a catalyst for Japan's post-war transformation. In the aftermath of defeat, Japan reinvented itself as a pacifist nation and an economic powerhouse. Would this have been possible without the shared trauma of Hiroshima and Nagasaki? In an alternate timeline where Japan is spared the horrors of the atomic bomb, its post-war trajectory takes a different path. The road to recovery is longer and more arduous. The absence of the atomic bombings removes a powerful symbol of the war's devastation. This makes it more difficult for Japan to embrace pacifism and focus on economic reconstruction. Section 8. Echoes in the Present. The Enduring Impact of an Alternate Past. As we stand in this alternate 2025, the echoes of a world without the atomic bombings reverberate through history. The Cold War, while still a period of tension and proxy conflicts, might have ended differently. The nuclear arms race, potentially delayed or even averted, might have resulted in a world with fewer nuclear weapons. And Japan, its post-war recovery shaped by different challenges and opportunities, would likely have a different role on the world stage. The absence of the atomic bombings forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about war, peace, and the choices that shape our destiny. It reminds us that history is not predetermined. It is a tapestry woven from countless threads of human decisions, actions, and inactions. Section 9. A choice that defined an era. The decision to drop the atomic bombs on Japan was a pivotal moment in human history. It ushered in the atomic age and cast a long shadow over the second half of the 20th century. But in exploring an alternate timeline where those bombs were never dropped, we gain a deeper understanding of the complexities of war, peace, and the choices that shape our world. As we confront the challenges of the 21st century, the lessons of this alternate history are more relevant than ever. The choices we make today will shape the world of tomorrow. It is our responsibility to learn from the past, to strive for a more peaceful and just future, and to ensure that the horrors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are never repeated.